Welcome to Patscast. I'm Brad Whitaker. Can Bailey Zappe win the Patriots starting quarterback job? I know it sounds crazy, but he's been kind of forgotten about ever since the 2023 NFL season ended for the Patriots with a tough loss against the New York Jets in the snow. And I know Zappe had his struggles, and I certainly have my critiques for the guy, but he was not in a great situation the last couple of seasons. Similar to the situation that Mac Jones was in, but perhaps even worse. He didn't get to play under Josh McDaniels like Mac Jones did his rookie year, where he played pretty well. He dealt with all the dysfunction that Mac Jones has dealt with, and that has defined the 2 years that he's been with the New England Patriots so far. He had two different offensive coordinators, one being at least the de facto OC, Matt Patricia, a defensive guy, had never coached offense before, tried to implement a new school West Coast style offense and had no idea what he was doing. He had players in the locker room teaching him how to run it, and Matt Patricia didn't want to listen to any of it. It was all new to him. We all know what happened that season. And then this past season was even worse under Bill O'Brien, where presumably it was supposed to be better, but I don't blame O'Brien so much for it. I think he dealt with the low-quality player personnel and just the general dysfunction with the coaching staff as a whole. And Zappe had to deal with this, not as the team starter, but as the backup. And when he came in as the starter, the team had already pretty much checked out. Yes, they moved Michael Onwenu to right tackle, looked a little bit better there. But for the most part, Zappe had the odds stacked against him from day one in New England with Patricia, with the dysfunction of this past season where they only won 4 games. But when you look at Zappe and his under-recruited high school days, his journey, how he got to the NFL, is really marked by perseverance. And I want to break down exactly what Zappe has been through to get to this point and talk about why we shouldn't exactly be writing him off, at least heading into his 3rd NFL season. Now, Zappe's senior season at Victoria East High School, which is just down the road from where I live from, he threw 3,770 yards and 37 touchdowns through the air. Despite doing all of this, had very minimal interest, and the only team that extended him a college scholarship was Houston Baptist University. And Zappe played very well there. It was an obscure program. Not a lot of people know about the Houston Baptist Huskies, but he showed a lot of glimpses of talent while he was there, and eventually was able to transfer to Western Kentucky, where he was able to establish himself as the starter and ultimately get drafted by the New England Patriots and put into a backup role behind Mac Jones. Now, during his season with Western Kentucky, Zappe set records. What he did was incredible. Go watch the highlights of Zappe his final season in college. He threw almost 6,000 passing yards and surpassed a record set by Texas Tech's B.J. Simmons in 2003. Still holds the record to this day. Zappe threw 62 touchdown passes, which shattered the previous record, which was set by who? LSU's Joe Burrow, now one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He did this at Western Kentucky. Yeah, maybe he was facing inferior competition, but we've seen NFL quarterbacks come out of these inferior college programs before. The top quarterbacks in the NFL are not all Alabama, LSU, USC guys. Josh Allen went to Wyoming. These guys are all over the place. And Bailey Zappe certainly went to Western Kentucky and demonstrated his prowess and earned recognition as one of the most dynamic and productive quarterbacks in college football history. People forget what he did. Now let's fast forward to the NFL. What Zappe did his rookie season. We all know Mac Jones went down his 2nd year in the league, and then Brian Hoyer came in against the Green Bay Packers, immediately got hurt himself, and then Zappe almost led the team to a victory against a far better Aaron Rodgers-led Green Bay Packers team. The game actually went into overtime, and I think had Zappe had a few more chances, had they had a little more confidence in allowing him to throw the football, they really just kind of handed the ball off in overtime and couldn't get much out of it. They could have won that game, and they really should have won that game. Had they done so, Patriots right now might be in a very different situation, because we forget Mac Jones' 2nd year, Bailey Zappe's rookie season, where Zappe took over when Mac Jones went down. They went into the final week of the season as the number 7 team in the playoff picture, meaning the season had ended after week 17. The Patriots would have been in the postseason. Now they went into Buffalo, lost the tough game where they were competitive, but ultimately the Bills got the best of them, and they entered the offseason with somewhere in the middle in terms of the NFL standings. But look at what Zappe has done in just a few of the games. Yes, he's had some bad games. Bad game against the Jets in the season finale this past year. Bad game when he took over and played the Chargers. Didn't have some great games when he struggled a little bit in that game against the Chicago Bears, even though he came in. Mac Jones started. It was a weird situation. Actually came in and really ignited the offense and then struggled a bit in the second half behind that bad Patriots offensive line. But had a couple of really great games this past season. The game at Pittsburgh, the game at Denver. He did these games on the road. Really looked like a much better, certainly has more arm strength than Mac Jones did. And let's also not forget the game he started when Mac Jones first got hurt against the Cleveland Browns on the road against, guess who? The supposed Patriots bridge quarterback at the moment, Jacoby Brissett. That was really Zappe's standout game. And let's compare the two. Zappe, the Patriots won the game. They basically blew out the Browns from the get-go. Zappe completed 24 of 34 passes, threw for 309 yards and 2 touchdowns. Very accurate, was able to move the ball effectively downfield. Compare that to Jacoby Brissett, who threw an interception on his first play of the game, was just 21 of 45 passing, not very good, 266 yards, 2 interceptions in that game. Zappe, I know he may have worked with better coaching. I know he had Matt Patricia, but the Patriots were much better prepared than the Browns were going into that game. Alex Van Pelt was there, the Patriots' current offensive coordinator, although he wasn't calling plays. But Zappe completely outplayed Jacoby Brissett in that matchup. And look, despite facing similar challenges in terms of filling in for injured starters, Zappe outshined Brissett and demonstrated greater poise and effectiveness in leading the Patriots to victory against the Cleveland Browns. Now, Zappe, I think he's a bit of a leader. He's a little bit cocky. I mean, I don't like him liking the post on Instagram when Mac Jones got traded to the Jaguars. But Mac Jones didn't really help him out. You know, he was not the leader that we thought he would be. You know, we thought this was like a high IQ, confident, accurate, not mistake-prone quarterback. And that wasn't the case these last couple of seasons, particularly this past season when the Patriots only won 4 games. Mac Jones should have been benched much earlier than he did. And when Zappe finally had a chance to get in there, it was too late. The season was essentially over. Now, Zappe has been working very hard this offseason. We've all seen the videos on X, on Instagram, on TikTok of his various workouts. He's been seen working alongside Kendrick Bourne, Demario Douglas, Tyquan Thornton. Tyquan Thornton lifting a lot of weights, looks like a completely different player. Is that going to slow him down? We'll see. But really working hard with his Patriots teammates, trying to build a rapport and really come into the 2024 NFL season as a guy who can potentially compete for the job. Now, if the Patriots, regardless of who they draft in this year's NFL draft, whether it's Drake May, Jaden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, or maybe they trade back or they prioritize the QB later, get a Bo Nix, Michael Penix, or Radler, one of these guys, there's a good chance the Pats want to sit this guy, perhaps for their first season, but for at least a few weeks while they learn an NFL offense. A lot of people think Drake May should sit because he has such a high ceiling, but perhaps a very low floor, meaning May should probably sit for a little while. I actually think May be a little bit more prepared than Jaden Daniels, even though Daniels offers mobility that May doesn't exactly have, although he can be mobile. Daniels has a lot of trouble making second, third, or fourth reads. He bails on plays a little early before going through the progression. I think he may need to sit too if the Patriots somehow land Jaden Daniels with the 3rd overall pick. So that leaves it to Bailey Zappe and Jacoby Brissett in training camp. We all think Brissett's going to win the job, but Brissett was outplayed by Zappe a couple seasons ago. What if Zappe outshines Brissett in training camp? Assuming the Patriots don't trade him, they don't want to move on and have a new QB room. I know they got like Nathan Rourke in there and all that. I don't expect him to be super competitive in training camp. But let's say it's those four guys: Rourke, Brissett, Zappe, and insert rookie QB name here. They sit the rookie. Rourke is, we don't know if he's going to make the team. So then you have Zappe and Brissett. Well, Zappe could outperform him in training camp. And then what do the Patriots do? They go into week 1 and they probably start Bailey Zappe. I know it sounds crazy right now, but I would not give up on this guy. He is very confident, more of a leader than Mac Jones was, maybe a little too cocky. He thinks he's an NFL starter, and he's out to prove it. He's really working hard this offseason. We've all seen the recordings. We've all seen the tape. We know that Zappe can perform in adverse situations. He's done it in high school. He did it in college. He was under-recruited. Why should we write him off? I don't think he should be underestimated at this point. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying you should bet on Bailey Zappe being the starter, but this is a guy who has overcome a lot in his young football career, even before the NFL. I think he has a good offseason. He's training with all of his receivers, puts on some muscle, adds some durability, works on his accuracy a little bit, his decision-making. His footwork is already very good. He has a very quick release, a better arm certainly than Mac Jones. Maybe, I don't know, Jacoby Brissett seems to have an okay arm, but is Zappe that much worse? I don't think so. It might even be better. So let's not write off Bailey Zappe at the moment. And I'm not saying he's the starter of the future. I'm not sure Patriots should be building around him, but he may win that job if it's between him and Jacoby Brissett at training camp and the Patriots want to sit the rookie. Or maybe the rookie just looks lost going in. They want to give them all a shot, and Zappe outshines all of them. It's a real possibility. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think Bailey Zappe actually has a shot to win the starting job? No one's really talking about the guy right now, but he's putting in the work, and I'm impressed with it. He certainly thinks he's an NFL starter. Let me know if you think he has a shot in the comments below. Be sure, if you're watching on YouTube, to like this video, subscribe to this channel, share it with your friends, or subscribe if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. And we'll be back with more Patriots coverage, breaking news as it comes out. We'll be here along the way as we get closer to the draft. We're going to have lots of draft coverage, not just heading into the draft, but the day of. All 3 days of the draft, we're going to break down every player that the Patriots take, whether they trade up, whether they trade back. We're going to be here to cover it along the way. So be sure to like this video, subscribe, and follow along to Pat's Cast so you can get all that information.